doubling the revenue was an understatement, because I feel like I even tripled it because of, you know, being able to know more valuable services, which is the brand strategy, and then combining it and creating a framework around this.
Jozelle Tech is a moderator in this group. She is the CEO of The Rolling Media, which is a small branding agency based in the Philippines. And I have known Jozelle for 3 years now. And she has been a key partner of mine in my agency. She's a moderator in this group, and she also is an exceptional branding person. So with that, I'm going to bring on Jozelle. She is dialing in right now. How are you doing, Jozelle?
Hey, Philip. Hey, brand masters.
So Jozelle, thank you for joining me today. I wanted to, you know what we're going to talk about, but you basically kind of really got up to speed on brand strategy last year and started to implement it in your business. So I want to kind of travel back in time, maybe a couple of years ago, and talk about what was your business, your agency business, like before you started kind of getting into brand strategy.
Back in 2017, backwards, I was a freelancer. I mainly do graphic design and then brand design, like brand logos, identities. And then in 2018, I was working into building my agency, the Rolling Media, the brand design, brand creative consultancy. And so back then, most of the things that we are offering were mostly about creatives like design, videos, not really into strategies. And so, yeah, we were getting by with our clients, but again, most of them are creatives and not really into content or strategies or actually building a brand, just the logos or the graphics around them.
So were you, I mean, you were obviously consulting with your clients and giving them advice. Were you basically giving that brand consulting, those ideas away for free?
Yeah, definitely. Well, back then I didn't know that it was actually brand strategy that I'm giving them. I mean, I'm just giving them, like we were just talking about a certain thing about their business or their brand, and then I just give my advice or talk about the things that could be improved with, or like we were just merely having a conversation, me not knowing that I'm already giving strategies.
So if you, what made you want to learn brand strategy? Like what brought it on your radar?
Uh, well, um, Back then when I was designing, I've been really curious on how to incorporate a copy into a design or the overall messaging of a certain brand or a business. Because again, most of the things that I do are mainly just graphic design and stuff, mostly creative. But I'm I'm just really curious on how it works like as a whole. And back then I'm also thinking of ways on how to add more value to my clients and how to actually, earn more money in providing services.
So what do you feel like was holding you back from either taking the next step? What was keeping you from either going out and learning it or starting to play with it and working with your clients? Why were you hesitating?
Well, at first, one thing is I don't know where to start, because branding is like, even now that I know branding, I feel like it's really a wide range of service, a wide range of topic that I feel like I'm inside the puzzle, not knowing where to go next. And next would be um, like there are a lot of people teaching about branding strategies and all, and I'm not sure to who to listen, because they have different opinions, different directions and stuff. And so yeah, I mean, starting it was really scary because I wanted to be, I mean, good. I wanted to be able to provide value, but still starting it was really, I feel like it's the most difficult thing. Also, thinking that I've been doing design for so many years, like learning something very new and trying to adapt it to what I currently offer. It's something challenging and like like having some limitations and some doubts on how to actually do it.
So you're a mentee of mine. You came to me through YouTube actually. So
Yes.
I was doing a bunch of YouTube videos, and then you started commenting on those videos, right? So let's just take a little sidetrack. Let's talk about like how we got to know each other really quickly.
Mhm.
So you started commenting on a lot of my videos on YouTube, and then I was impressed by your level of engagement and also your thinking. And then about a month later or so, you reached out to me on LinkedIn, and what did you say?
Well, I asked you, I think, what can I do for you to have an exchange of quick 10-minute call with you because I really wanted to learn from you. Because back then, as I've mentioned, I was really looking for someone to really be able to teach me like the know-how of things, like the step by step. That's why I binge watch all of your brand strategy videos, which I really like, and I find it very interesting and valuable to think that you clearly know this, like this everything about it, and you can definitely walk the talk. And so yeah, I tried my luck and I was very fortunate that you replied.
Yeah. So we basically started we came to an agreement in terms of kind of exchanging some of Jozelle's content repurposing skills for my brand, and then in exchange for some mentorship. So when we kind of started down this road, you told me that you really wanted to learn brand strategy. And so
Mhm.
over a period of, I guess it was probably 4 or 5 meetings, I kind of walked you through and taught you the basics of brand strategy. And so, kind of what, once we did that, and just so you guys know who are watching, I did this with Jozelle. I also did it with another mentee of mine. I walked them through basically a basic 101 of brand strategy. Jozelle is in the Philippines and a younger person with a smaller agency. The other mentee that I have is a design director at a very big global agency in the UK. So they're at kind of very different levels. But I walked them through essentially the same 101 kind of education of how to do brand strategy on a basic level. And so Jozelle started to put this into practice, but before you put it into practice, you were kind of like a little hesitant, right?
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, but I don't really think it was a basic branding 101 because most of the things that I really learned about brand strategy was because of those branding decks that we have gone through, I think, five to six sessions. And it really opened a new world for me. Like I didn't expect it to be that deep of a type of a crash course because again I was just like, hey, I'm really curious about brand strategy, and then you offered it and like you're completely ready for it, like you were, like it felt like that at some point of our mentorship I would be asking that because you were really prepared on it. And I really like the fact that when you um, teach me some of the lessons, you really have like the experience for me to tell like the backstories that you have. Like I think that's one of my most favorite thing about the branding 101 that we did, because I'm not only learning the information but also the insights and the real world experience.
So when I walked Jozelle through this training, um, I I I realized when after I took her through it, and after she started putting it to work in her agency and got some amazing results, which we'll get to, I realized that this is needed to be a course. It needed to be a course that I needed to develop, and I needed to offer it to a much wider range of people. And so that's what I've done. I've been working for the last year on developing Brand Strategy 101 as a course, and it's going to be launching at the beginning of February in just a couple weeks. And so I wanted to come on and kind of talk about the process of how Jozelle kind of learned this, but then also the after, which is like after she took this training with me, how did you put that into work and what kind of results did it have for your agency? So after we went through this, talk a little bit about how you first started to use it with your clients.
Actually, I didn't wait for us to finish the whole
Just
thing.
you jumped right
I
into it.
was Yes, because I always believed in learning by doing it, and that's how I really get to be able to learn something. Not to just watch something or read something, but actually doing it on the job. And so every time we get to finish a specific phase of the branding 101, I get to try it with my current clients or try it with my friends or even on our own business. And so by then, I was able to really craft it and make my own tweaks to own the strategies that I can do on my own capabilities. And it was really great. I feel like we have created a whole new service offering moving towards when I learned strategy. And then moving forward, we were able to really incorporate design and strategy and then marketing. So we became like in a year span, we became like a whole brand creative consultancy offering different branches of branding, which is really really cool. Like I didn't imagine it to be like that, but it just it just so happened. It was very magical, and the truth is, I feel like doubling the revenue was an understatement because I feel like I even tripled it because of you know being able to know more valuable services, which is the brand strategy, and then combining it and creating a framework around this.
So you just kind of glossed over what I think is one of the most amazing points of this is that in that year, you more than doubled your revenue by putting brand strategy to work inside your agency. And so talk a little bit about what learning that had to do with how you priced your creative work, but then also how you were selling strategy as a separate deliverable. Talk a little bit about that and what that meant to your revenue as an agency.
Well, I was actually just talking to my squad members, my team earlier, and I was even talking about this. The thing that I've learned with you is that now we are not only being paid for the execution, but also with the thinking. And the most important thing was the thinking part was more valuable rather than the execution. I mean, it is combined and it's going to be more powerful, but like a lot of people are thinking like branding is all about the design, a logo, but it's not really, is it? Because it's more about think the thinking design the design thinking, being able to really connect with your audience. And yeah, you can have it on a logo or design, but still the connection between them, it needs to have a strategy. And it really blew up my business because I feel like probably 60 or to 70% of our revenue are coming from having be able to provide brand strategies and even
Wow.
consultation because I used to do consultations just by
So
talking about
So 2 years
strategies.
ago, 100% of your revenue was from creative, and then a year and a half later, or a year later, 60% of your revenue, which you had more than doubled, was all coming from strategy and consulting.
Yes.
And you had never
Yes,
done it
because
before.
no, we haven't.
That's so crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. It's like what exactly happens, which is why I wanted to have you on. I want to talk about one kind of nuance of your case, right? Of your case study, and that is that you have an agency in the Philippines. And the Philippines, the pricing structure of creative is a lot lower. And we know that also from in the United States because a lot of people go to freelancers in the Philippines to do content repurposing or to be VAs, virtual assistants, or to get creative done because it's so much less expensive to do there. And so there was some, you were very nervous about charging the kind of prices that you're now charging when you first started to do that, because number one, comparatively they're very, very high prices for the Philippines, right? But you were also very worried about your ability to kind of command those prices in the Philippines as well as in the United States. So why don't you talk about that?
Um, well, in the beginning, I was really scared, and you know this. I've been like, "Oh, can I really do this? Can I really say this amount?" But I just really think that an understanding that you have value in you that you can provide to these people, to these businessmen, and that's what they really need, makes it all different. I mean, it's a new um, beginning for me, and it's like a new hope that me giving more value means having more money, something like that. And uh, and um, in all honesty, at the beginning, there were clients who was asking like, "Oh, I thought you would be charging lower than this because again, you are from the Philippines." But then, as you told me, it's not about the nationality, and I really believe that it's about the actual value that I can put on the table, and knowing that I have really learned from the best. I know that I can really be able to deliver results for them. So yeah, when I started to offer it, and a client acknowledged the value of it, and we had a deal, I started getting more confidence.
Well,
Um,
first of all, you
in
freaked out and you texted me and said, I just sold the biggest design and strategy project I ever have in my whole life
yeah,
by like two times, I think.
2 times, yes. Like it really doubled. Like I was even telling him, like, I don't know what happened. Like I don't know why I said that, but he said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And I'm like, oh my god, like yeah, I texted you through phone, so like
Yeah.
it was really amazing.
How did you get over that fear? Because I know the first couple times that you pitched the idea of doing strategy and attached a financial number to it for your clients. How did you? I know that I was pushing you, right? So I was there. I know one thing. I used to kind of browbeat you to get you to just do it. It was like I had your back. But how did you in your own head kind of get over that fear? What was it in your thinking or your mindset that changed that allowed you to be able to offer this?
Um, maybe in the beginning when people were asking about it, and some were honestly declining it because of the price and not understanding the value of it, I learned to really give value upfront by doing brand audit, because that's something I also learned from you. And also knowing that I have a backup, like knowing that I am able to ask you things, and also to just go over the branding one-on-one that we had. um, because more than anything, I am scared to if I'm going to be able to provide them results, because that's the main thing. If I won't be able to provide them results, then how can they trust me for the value that I'm asking for, or the price, the premium price? And so back in my head, like whatever happens on this, I would always have that branding one-on-one decks, or like that experience that I can go back to and get my reference with. And yeah, I guess knowing that I'm having like the call, like because I have experience closing them on a call, and um it was really surprising and very exciting at that moment. But when they say yes, I feel like okay, I have to be able to provide results and give more value, because like we were able to trust each other to work together.
So when I walked you through that training, I know that we recorded it, right? And then I made those recordings available to you afterwards. Did you go back and listen to
Of
any of those
course,
recording? Were they
of
was
course.
it helpful to, number one, have recordings, and was it number two, helpful to kind of go back and rewatch them?
Yeah, definitely, because um again, branding is a wide topic, and so every client have a different problem issues, and from case to case they have different things that they need. So sometimes I need to go back on a certain topic that I wanted to really, understand more on how to actually execute it. And so definitely I have rewinded a lot of times.
So, how did it go at first? Like the first time you did it, when you actually delivered the brand strategy, how did it feel? How did it go?
It was really satisfying on my end, to be honest, because like, especially when the client really say like, this is really me, this is how I picture it, because I feel like brand strategy is a lot about listening to a person, knowing their story, knowing their pain points, and all of those things. And us as strategists, we get to uncover different things for their brand and discover things for them and put it into a document or into an organized box where they can reference with. And so, whenever my clients are happy with the results, I'm very, very much happy because I know that the more I do it, the more I practice it, the more that I be able to um, um, enhance my skill as well as um, be able to charge more. Because that's the thing, Philip. Whenever I charge a client, the next thing or the next client would be a bit higher. I think you also teach me this for me to really boost my confidence and really challenge myself, and that's what I did. And so, as I told you before, I think before the holiday, I was able to get um, the biggest deal that I had solely for brand strategy. It was really shocking, and it was the best gift for 2020.
When after you kind of really felt like you had learned the basics of strategy through our interaction, did you test it out before charging anybody for it, or did you just start charging people for it right out of the gate?
To be honest, I did charge it right after. Like, what I did was I was using this client to be my breakthrough case study, BCS. Basically, whatever I learned, I'm just doing it for her. And it was good. We had a good result. She was happy. She got her ROI, and everything was really perfect. And like, it was really a good decision to just jump into it.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to kind of add about your experience in doing that? This has been really
Um,
great. I appreciate your sharing all this the backstory of your experience with it.
Yeah, and thank you for inviting me, Philip, because I mean, I'm really your human guinea pig, and
Yes,
I'm
she
really, really
was
fortunate.
actually,
You know,
but I had a
I'm
couple.
really
She wasn't
fortunate.
my only guinea pig. I had a few.
Mhm. Yeah. So I was very fortunate to have the experience and to be able to really scale my business in that short period of time. And I feel like to whoever is wanting to learn brand strategy, it's never too late, because before I was thinking that like I was in my late 20s doing a lot of creatives, and I feel like this is a new thing, and I might not be able to really learn and use it and have it part of my business. But it was really like the biggest break of my business, and moving forward I would even up to now, most of the projects that I have, we have a brand strategy part of it. So I feel like you just really need to dare to suck
Yep,
and jump it.
you know my motto.
Hmm.
Well, awesome, Jozelle. Thank you for coming on, and I really appreciate it. I don't know whether you're going to be able to jump on the comments and moderate that,
Yep.
but that would be really cool because I'm not really sure how my comments are working in eCam right now. And so I'm going to let you go, and then
Thank
we'll see
you.
you a bit later. I really wanted to share with you Jozelle's experience because my walking her through that basics of brand strategy, that kind of boot camp, the 101 of brand strategy, and then also a couple of my other mentees, they both saw similar results. And so I wanted to get Jozelle on to share those results with you because it literally happened just in a year from the time that I gave her that training to when she put it into action, and she over more than doubled her revenue. And it's an incredible case study, and I think that you guys are probably just as aghast as I am. I mean, I knew she was going to see a bump in her revenue, and she was going to be able to sell a service that was far beyond just the creative that she was selling. But she really had it out of the park. And that's one of the things that just lit a fire under me to really get this Brand Strategy 101 course out into the world. And so I wanted to tell you just a little bit about it. You can see the link on the top of the screen. If you go to philipvandusen.com/BS101, you can register for a webinar that I'm going to be doing in about a week. I'm doing one on February 2nd, one on February 3rd. And it's going to be on 3 secrets to selling bigger creative projects and proven ways to sell more work. And I'm going to be sharing some of the key things that Jozelle was just talking about in preliminary to this brand strategy course. So this is a free masterclass training, which includes a number of the things that I talk about in the course, but I wanted to put it out there and provide it to you guys because I think it's really, really important information. And it is going to lead into the launch of this course. And so definitely go to philipvandusen.com/BS101 and register for one of those 2 instances of the webinar. And so if you're really looking to win bigger projects or have greater control over your relationships with your clients, or to be seen as a true business partner rather than just a mouse pusher, rather than just an order taker, I know that that's one of the biggest frustrations that a lot of creative professionals have. They're really frustrated that they feel like they just get thrown projects or thrown jobs by their clients, but they aren't really treated with the respect, or the knowledge they have that they're sharing isn't really valued as highly as they think it should be. And one of the ways to get over that hump and to be treated like more of a business partner is to bring a level of brand strategy, brand consulting to the table in addition to your creative work. And that is exactly what this course, Brand Strategy 101, is going to be able to deliver. And here's the really cool thing about it. The really cool thing about this course is that the first time I deliver it, it's not going to be just a video course. I'm going to deliver it live. I'm going to deliver it live over a period of 8 weeks. It's going to be 1 hour a week over 8 weeks. And then I'm going to have a private Facebook group, and I'm going to do Q&As every week about the lesson that we did that week. And so not only are you going to be able to learn all of the stuff that I'm going to be sharing, I'm going to be recording it. Those recordings are going to be available for the foreseeable future for you to be able to go back and look at and kind of parse through and listen to again, just like Jozelle was talking about how she went back and looked at those recordings of her and I doing that brand strategy training. And so that's going to be available to you as well. The other thing about it is that I've decided to sell it for about 50% of what I initially had planned on. And that is also because this is the first time I'm delivering this course. And I know I'm going to learn things in delivering this course from you guys and from the people who take it. But the next time I launch it, and in additional times it comes, I put it out into the market, it is going to be more expensive. So there's a couple huge benefits to getting it on the ground floor. One, you're going to definitely get it from me in person. And number two, it's going to be at a rate, a fee that is going to be lower than it will ever be again. And so if you're looking to get paid for thinking, I mean, I know a lot of you guys are not just creative designers, right? You are giving your clients intellectual property. You are giving them guidance. You're giving them ideas. You're giving them inspiration. You are giving them focus and marketing concepts when you're delivering all your creative work. But the thing is that many of you are not getting paid for that brain power. You're not getting paid for that intellectual property that you're delivering. And I know that Jozelle was doing the same thing, right? She was delivering a level of consulting to her clients, and she wasn't asking to be paid for it until she kind of took that brand strategy 101 kind of boot camp and got a little bit more information and confidence under her belt. Was she able to go out and actually start charging for that stuff? And it's absolutely transformed her business. So I know that there's a lot of brand strategy courses out there, and I've looked at a number of them. Some of them are really massive and really complicated, and others are really thin and not super helpful. And so what I've done is I've taken my 25 plus years of experience in delivering brand strategy to clients, and also being on the agency side delivering it to clients, and being on the client side receiving it from agencies. I have created a course which is manageable, a system with a very succinct toolkit that you can walk through, and it's very modular, so you can scale it up or down depending on what your clients have the budget for or have the stomach for. Now, here's the other main thing about this course that I wanted to tell you guys about, and that is that the biggest comment I hear from people is that my clients don't want to pay for strategy. My clients don't understand the ROI of doing brand strategy. And so I have a whole module in this course about communicating the ROI of brand strategy to your clients. So they will be much more open, if not eager, to pay you to do it. And some methods you can go about in how you communicate that, but also how you illustrate it visually to them. So it's like you've heard the story of the princess and the pea, right? It's like setting a pea under their mattress that when they try to sleep, they can never stop thinking about it. And so I've got some techniques that I'm going to teach you how to do that, right? How to communicate that ROI of strategy. If you want to hear about number 1, 3 secrets to selling bigger creative projects, some of what I'm going to be teaching in Brand Strategy 101, I share in this presentation, in this little masterclass. So it's a sneak peek into all of the value that you're going to get in the Brand Strategy 101 course. So you can go and register. This is a landing page you go to, and then you'll be taken to the registration page. But if you go to my website, philipvandusen.com/BS101, there'll be a link to take you to the registration page where you can pick a date and definitely join me on that webinar, because I think that it will be very, very valuable to you. I hope to see you in the webinar, and eventually I hope to see you in the Brand Strategy 101 course. That would be awesome. So anyway, take care and have a great day.